Hi, my name is Elizabeth Rowling, and I'm a marketing major who interned with Seer Interactive, a digital marketing agency based in Philly, with a location in San Diego, but with a majority of their employees working remotely, aka that's how I had the opportunity to work with them. My overview of the company is just that they're very open, they're very transparent, they're very friendly. I would say that's their biggest strength, is just being a very welcoming environment. The weakness, I would just say, is that since it's remote, it's kind of hard to have that relationships with one-on-one with certain people. You just have to work harder for it. Not that it's impossible. It's just a weakness I would call out. My strength, I think, is that I was just willing to learn. I jumped in at the time. I started as an SEO intern and then moved over to project management. Didn't really know either of those areas, but I think that I kind of just took on whatever project they threw at me and I gave it a good go. And then the community, I think, was my biggest weakness. Is I had a really hard time finding out how to jump in there at the very beginning. Not that I didn't figure it out. I tried to join a book club. I've yet to actually read the book because I'm reading my college books, but I would say that's something I could work on. My biggest challenge was definitely just asking for help. I have pulled numerous all-nighters finishing projects that needed to be sent out when I could have just asked for an extension. I didn't do that. I said, I guess I'm just not gonna go to bed tonight, which they would never have allowed that. So if I had just been open and honest about that, then it would have been completely different. And I think the greatest takeaway from it is just that learning what life looked like for an agency. I think we hear about marketing agencies a lot in college, and I've always wanted to see what it's like to actually be a part of it. Everyone talks about how fast-paced it is, and I can confirm that it's very fast-paced, but I really enjoyed working through it. So, an overview of my major project that I worked on, and this is where I get excited. So, I will attach kind of the template of what I created. I can't show with it all the details in just because it's a lot of client information, so I'm not allowed to, but I will send the template and I'll talk through it now, and then hopefully it'll come two and two together. So to start off, it started with, we had this big Google Doc created to help with quarterly planning. So quarterly planning is when we go through each of the quarters, which is 3 months out of the year of a client contract, and we find out what deliverables we're going to do for them. And a big part of this has to do with communicating with the client to figure out what they would like to see get done, and then us seeing if we have the hours pocketed for that amount of projects. It's a lot to figure out. It's a lot of hours, a lot of math, a lot of numbers. And when I first started, it was just a big Google Doc shared with 50 people. So all these cursors would be in there. It'd be super confusing. Numbers would get lost. And I was like, is this just how... Am I confused because I'm an intern, or am I confused because this is chaotic? I ended up talking to my boss, and I was like, I'm having a really hard time running through this because at this point I had done it twice. Like I said, it's quarterly, so it wasn't like a weekly thing I would jump into. But so I was like, is this normal, like the way I'm feeling? And she's like, yeah, it's something on my list. I don't have time to really figure out a new structure for it as a product manager, but if you want to just take a stab at a new way to go through this, you can totally do that. So I did take a stab at it. It took a little bit of time. Thankful that I went through the process of how they were doing it at least twice so I could kind of understand where we're getting numbers from. Hopped in Excel and then made a sheet with formulas and divvied it out and just came up with a whole new process of how to do it. And I took it to my boss and I said, here's what I created, and we tested it. So we had to wait for the next quarter to come. And what we did is we started with my team only, and we tried it out. And as we would go, I would make adjustments. So then when we would go to the next division in our team, which there was there's 10 divisions in my team. It's one of the biggest clients, so it was nice to be able to try it and have that many iterations of the same process. So as we would do it, I would change it, we would do it, I would change it, and then quarterly planning was over. And then there's another part of the template that we actually take to the client. So we take all the information from each of the tabs and we put it all together into a deliverable for the client to say, hey, here is what we're going to do for you this quarter. So she sent it to the client in our new format, the one that I created, and just asked, how does this feel? Like, is this easier for you to digest? Are you able to read it? Is it easier for you to ask questions? And we got a really positive response. Then we took it to the internal team and we said, how did everyone feel? Was this easier to go through? Because when we fill it all out, we have a call with each division. So people are watching us fill this out live, which was also part of the problem when it's in a long doc, is that these meeting times would take 45 minutes, an hour to figure out what projects we're going to do. And we were looking at 30, 45. Again, a super positive response. So then we said, okay, let's clean this up. Let's find out where our pain points are. We'll clean it, and then we can try again next quarter. So we did try again next quarter, but not just on my team. All the project managers took the most recent template and used it for their accounts. So now we were getting the whole company's perspective on this new way of running this project. It went really smoothly for my team, with very little adjustments being done, and then getting feedback from all the other project managers. And of course, everyone has like little tweaks that they wanted to make just to make it like catered to them. But all in all, the process went really well for everyone, showing that it wasn't just a thing for my team or my specific team, but that everyone could use it. So now, it was really exciting. I had the opportunity to train 2 new project managers at the company, and part of the training was how to use that template. So now it is a normal step in the PM process at this company. And I'm really proud that at least if I don't get to continue with them, even though we're extending my internship, that I know that I had at least a mark on the company and something they can remember me by. Thank you.